Hello, Mark Red Larson here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Michael Consbruck.
Consbruck.
So, how are you doing today?
Good today.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. So, Michael, where are you located? What's kind of a little bit of background?
Okay, so we're at we're at the Cheese and Wine Shop in downtown Hastings, Nebraska.
Cool.
We are at 615 West 2nd Street. Most people know either Brown's Shoe Store or they know the Back Alley Bakery. So we're across the street from Brown's and we're right next door to Back Alley.
Awesome. So, what was this building before you had this building?
Before this building, a perfect gift, Sweet Peas Boutique. They were here for many, many, many years. But a little deep dive into history on this place, I found out it was a bakery when the building was built.
Wow.
And then
cool.
at the turn of the century, it became a credit union. And so we have this really cool, creepy old vault in the back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's why I love old buildings, the history and everything on that. So,
yeah.
So how long have you been? Tell a little about your shop here that you got and how long have you been open?
Yeah. So we opened up back in April, a very, very soft opening in April of 2024.
Okay.
But because I farm full time with family, I was in and out, in and out, in and out. So it was a very soft opening in April.
Okay.
By June, we had our grand opening, and we specialize in everything cheese, everything wine. We like to bill ourselves as the experts of cheese, the experts of wine, and then you're going to find all kinds of stuff in here. You're going to find risottos and spices. You're going to find sauces. You're going to find all kinds of charcuterie from around the world, chocolates.
Yes. Yes.
Everything that's delicious that you cannot find at the grocery stores in town.
No, in Special Central, Nebraska. I mean, and you have awesome charcuterie boards. I love your charcuterie board. I like pretty much everything you have here. So what got you started doing something like this?
Okay. Well, I lived in Southern California for 22 years.
Okay.
And every single neighborhood in Los Angeles has their own cheese shop.
Really?
And I got used to just walking down the street and being able to grab.
That would have been very nice.
Yeah. I mean, cheeses that you would never think of. And then, of course, because it's California, we had access to a lot of different wines.
Yeah, really.
I moved back home to be closer to family and also to farm.
Okay.
And I realized after a year, I thought, where on earth am I going to find cheese and where am I going to find the wines?
Right.
And so I had in LA as a hobby, I was in the wine world for about 15 years just for fun. I had my own little wine bar in Los Angeles and a little mid-century lounge in Palm Springs where we bring in the things we liked.
Okay.
Once I got here, I thought, so open this up selfishly so I could keep buying wine and cheese and all the good things I enjoyed.
Awesome. Yeah, if you can't find it, just open it up.
Absolutely.
So on farming, wine vineyard, would you ever do that here? Probably.
No, I wouldn't. For a couple of different reasons. It's very labor intensive, and I just don't have the time for something like that. Also, our climate here in Nebraska isn't conducive to growing the noble grapes that I would want to grow.
Noble grapes, okay.
Yeah. So we can grow grapes in Nebraska, no problem. But they're all hybridized different grapes. They're not the noble grapes that I would want to work with.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the grapes that grow here. I'm just a bit of a purist, and if
I'm with you.
If I'm going to make wine, I want to make, a Blanc Francoche or a Cabernet Franc or something like that.
So, where did you learn all your knowledge about wines and the grapes and everything?
Drinking.
I should be well on my way then.
No, when I moved to California, I moved out there. I have a master's degree in marketing and a master's in journalism. So I was writing textbooks for schools and things like that for about 5 or 6 years. I got bored, didn't like my job, went back to school to become an architect. And in that process, I had a major pay cut from being the department chair of my office I was writing books in to becoming the office copy boy at the architecture firm.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to get a second job, fell into the wine industry. Literally, I responded to an ad in the paper saying, "Do you like wine?" ? That was it.
Really? I like it.
Responded to it, and I kind of got into the wine world. I learned and learned and learned. 7 or 8 years later, I opened up my own little wine bar as a hobby after I had transitioned into the architecture world.
Okay.
And then I opened up my own architecture studio.
Wow, you're an action taker. If you can't, I mean, that's awesome.
Just, if you can't find it, make it yourself.
Exactly.
So I fell into the wine world that way, and then cheese kind of followed. Just because wine and cheese seems like a peanut butter and jelly. Or,
exactly.
Wine
they
and
definitely
cheese.
go together. That's for sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what wines do you gravitate? Dry wines or
Dry wines.
Dry wines.
Yeah. I'm a dry wine drinker, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter if it's red, white, rosé,
Right. Okay.
sparkling. I just prefer dries.
Okay. So, did you grow up in this area?
I did. I
You
grew up on a
did.
farm west of Juniata. I went to grade school in Juniata. I went to
Okay.
high school at Adams Central.
Okay.
Most of my family still lives here in the area or within Nebraska. A couple aunts and uncles have moved away. But when I finished my master's degree, I wanted to see and do things different. I wanted to see the world.
Amen. Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted a different climate. I wanted, different weather. I wanted different everything.
Yeah.
So I ended up in Los Angeles. I'd never been there in my life.
Really? Oh, wow.
I had no job. I had no friends. I had no family. I had no place to live. I just got in my car and I drove there.
I admire you.
And,
wow.
And it lasted 22 years.
Wow. It was the right thing to do.
It was the right thing to do.
No, I mean, so when you were younger, were you that way?
I was 24.
Okay, that's pretty young then. So you just been, I mean, when you were growing up, how did you get that mindset to just go for it? You think?
I don't honestly know. I like to learn. I like to read. I like to experience new things, and I love Nebraska. And living in LA for 22 years, I talked up Nebraska, and people kind of scratched their heads.
Yeah, I bet they did.
Huh? But I'm open to learning all the time,
which is always great.
When people hear bash big cities because of whatever reason, I don't understand it. But then when I was living on the coast and people were bashing the flyover states, I didn't understand it because people just need to open up their minds to learn and experience new things.
They do, because every area has something to offer. That's
Absolutely.
For sure. So, and we were just talking about you're getting ready to travel to Italy, which is, I love that country.
Yes.
It's hard to come back from that country. But
it is.
So, how extensively have you explored the world? I mean,
I have only seen 5 of the 7 continents.
Just 5? Okay,
I still have 2 more to get to.
Okay.
35 or 40 different countries.
Wow. So, do you journal that, or do you keep track of that, or?
I don't. I should have started years ago when I started traveling, journaling and just writing about the experiences. But I never did. I should have.
Yeah. Well, now you got to start over, and now that you're doing it, reason to go back to. So that many countries. I mean, you just wanted to travel, and you just decided, like everything else, you just to do it. So, was that intimidating the first time you started traveling?
No, it was kind of like moving to California. I didn't know any different. I didn't know what to be scared about. I didn't know what to.
True.
I just went and it's just like jumping in the deep end of the pool. You either sink or you swim.
Do it, yeah. Yeah, you don't overthink it, just do it.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So what was do you remember what the first country you traveled to was?
Very first country. Well, I mean, I was a little kid. It was Mexico.
Okay.
And that was with family. And that's because we had an aunt and uncle in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
So we crossed the border into Nogales, Mexico.
Yep.
One afternoon to, see Mexico. But other than that, the very first country I'd landed in at 18 was Germany.
Really?
Frankfurt was the first port of call. And I remember it distinctively because it was so different from anything else I'd ever experienced in the U.S.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where when we came back from Italy, we went through Frankfurt. That's a big airport too.
Huge airport.
So Italy, do you have other trips lined up coming? I mean, in the next few months?
Italy in a couple, or I guess it's 8 days now, and then I'm heading to Ireland for my best friend's 50th birthday in June.
Okay.
Heading to England in September for a family wedding.
Nice.
And then last night, my husband and I were talking about how we haven't been to Paris in about 3 or 4 years, so we might do a long weekend into Paris, in and out.
So you like Paris? I've always heard people knocking Paris. They don't like
that.
Okay.
Most people who knock it have never been there.
Okay.
Most people who say, "Oh, the French are ignorant or arrogant," have never been there.
Okay.
The French are amazing.
Really? Okay. I've never been to France,
I love France.
Okay, I got to check that out. But no, I hear of seems like any country or town or city is Paris. So, so how do you line up your own traveling and everything? You do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if somebody was wanting to listen to this and wanted to start traveling like you, how would you go about telling somebody to travel to like Europe?
Well, it's easy to start in a big city. So, start in one that is comfortable where that English is going to be spoken. So start in London.
True. Yeah,
that
London. Makes sense.
they're going to speak English. It's going to be easy to get around. The train system in the city is amazing.
Okay.
Dip your toe into it, and then you go from there. I mean, I found that I learned German growing up.
Did you?
So
Okay.
when I'm in Germany or if I'm on Lufthansa Airlines, it's a little bit easier. But almost every major city that I've been to in Europe, they speak English.
Yeah, that's what we found too. I was amazed how much, and it's like, okay, I was all ready for Italian, and I was also ready for the euro, and everybody's like, well, I take credit cards, and it's like, okay, I wouldn't have to do that except
Keep
for
it simple.
except for the people
plastic.
on the trains in Naples would accost us with accordion music until we gave them the €2 coin. They were good, but it's like, get away from me.
Sounds right.
So, but they were good. But I like Sorrento and all. I mean, all those other.
Sorrento's my favorite.
I could live
the
there.
Amalfi Coast. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the best place.
And went to the Queen's Bath. Have you ever been to that movie down there?
No.
It's actually a place, I think it's right by Sorrento, where I guess in the 14th century the Queen went, and it's kind of, it goes way down, and it's kind of a cove, and actually you can dive off, and it has got an opening to the Mediterranean Sea. It is, it's amazing.
That sounds cool.
It's good going down, but coming back up because it's but no. So getting back to your store here, so would you ever expand to another
No.
No.
This is literally just a hobby.
Okay.
Farming is full time. This is my hobby.
Yeah.
If I expanded anymore, I'd have to clone myself.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time for it. And I find with a shop like this, you have to be there to make it work.
True. Very true.
You have to be around. You've got to, be the buyer. You've got to be the one talking about stuff. You've got to be the one teaching the classes. You've got to be the one,
Yeah. And you have classes?
We do have classes.
I did not know that. So what kind of classes do you have?
Well, through Central Community College here in Hastings, I've taught a class we call Wine 101, taught a class we call Cheese 101. Last night was our class where we instruct people how to pair food and wine and the science behind it.
Nice.
Next Tuesday, I am teaching a seminar on how wine is blended and kind of the simple rules on blending wine, and then I'm breaking people up into teams, and it's becoming a competition where they're going to blend.
That's
and then
awesome.
we bring in winemakers from Europe. So we've had 4 different winemakers come to Nebraska, come to Hastings, Nebraska, and do a question and answer and a dog and pony show, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I didn't know you were doing all that. I mean, so website? How do you find out about it? All this?
We have a website, but it's basically just a placeholder.
Okay.
I put stuff up on social media. Disclosure: I'm bad at social media. I'm of that generation where I understand its use, but I'm almost 50 and I don't care.
I hear you on that too.
It's a waste of time. When I studied marketing and advertising, I studied the traditional copywriting and banner ads and billboards and magazine ads.
Yes.
So I'm terrible at social media. Just awful. But that's how people would find out about what we do with social media.
Okay. So do you have for a quarter of the classes you're going to have then here? Or is it the classes right here, or do you go out to
the classes is here?
Okay.
Yeah. Looks like we have a question.
So where can you point me to the Brunello?
The Brunellos, yes. Brunellos will be in Italy. And they're going to be, I'll be right back.
That's cool.
All right.
I promise I read them.
That's okay. So the Brunellos will be up top.
Oh, they will be up top. Okay. I wonder. Okay.
We've got these 3 Brunellos here.
Oh, duh. Wow. Just like the top. Okay. Thank you. Do we have any on? I mean, Brunellos are probably up there. I'm not surprised. Yeah.
So we have some Central steak down here. That's going to be from Montecito.
And this is the kind of service you get here. I mean, this place is amazing. So, Cheryl, my wife, and I, this is one of our favorite places. So, I mean, they have wine you don't find other places, a lot of other places, especially central Nebraska.
So that's all the region in Tuscany. That would be in Montecito.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm back.
That's awesome.
Sorry about that.
No, I just said this is the kind of service you get here. I did a shout out to you on there while
you're welcome.
No, I like that. That's service. I mean, that's what people can expect when they come to your shop here. So,
well, I mean, I've tasted every single wine that we brought in, and I only have it here because of a certain characteristic. Now, I don't necessarily like all 350 different wines that we have because I'm not a sweet wine drinker, but there's a lot of people who enjoy that.
Oh, yes.
So I've tried every wine, so I can talk about every wine. So if somebody has a question, I can assist them. Or if people are coming in and looking for a very specific region of a specific country,
right.
and I can say, well, this is what we have from that region, and this is what we have from that village,
Okay.
et cetera.
So do you speaking other places for like with wines and what you do here, like in front of the audience?
I have.
You have, okay.
Yep. I've been invited to speak at the Rotary Club in Hastings.
Cool.
I've had a couple of people ask me if I would do private events for them in their home and their friends, or an office type situation. We were invited to go to the United Way benefit in town.
Wow,
and
nice.
I was asked to pair the wines to a menu and then discuss the wines and why we did it that way.
Okay.
And after doing that, we met Chef Tim Wallace, who lives here in Hastings, and we've done 4 other food and wine pairings events where he comes up with a menu, and then we have a 5-course.
I love
meal.
that, the collaboration. What a collaboration that would be. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
Tim's amazing.
So I'm all for collaboration. So so talking about stuff that you do, I mean, a collaboration you're coming up with the Girl Scouts.
Yes.
And which is awesome. In fact, the gal that was on the podcast that we recorded Monday is the one you're working with.
Yes.
And so how did you come up with what you're doing with the Girl Scouts?
So we're doing Girl Scout cookies. We're pairing the cookies to cheeses or to wines. So not everyone drinks wine, but a lot of people love cheese. And so they come in and they have cheese questions. So we have to be equally as experts in cheese as we do wines. Okay. So I have come up with a way to pair cookies with cheese and pair the cookies with the wine.
Okay.
And I saw Mary Jo and her troop. I think it was at Ress's on Sunday.
Okay.
And I had asked another troop leader, and they didn't think that this was the right environment to sell cookies. And I asked Mary Jo, and she said, "Why not?"
Yeah, it sounds like her. Yeah.
So we are going to have an event on Sunday from 1 to 4.
Okay.
People can come in and buy the cookies from Mary Jo and her troop. And I will reveal what wine pairs with each different Girl Scout cookie and what cheese pairs with each different Girl Scout cookie. So
I imagine you have to get tickets to it on Sunday?
No.
You it's open just to the public.
This is an open house. Okay. Anybody can come in. So it's not going to be a sit down. People aren't going to be trying them here. But we'll explain, this is the wine, this is the cheese. They can choose to buy it, go home and enjoy it. Or they can buy a box of cookies here, go upstairs to our little lounge,
which is awesome.
Buy a bottle of wine, buy some cheese, and enjoy all of that together.
That's I mean, and what time does that start on?
Sunday from 1 to 4. So it's just an open house whenever people have time. The Girl Scouts around town selling a lot of cookies.
Yes.
And I've seen other places, doing their bit to help out. And I thought, we can do that, but we can do it better.
Yeah.
We can make it more interesting. We can
I think that could be very interesting.
Girl Scout cookies on their own, delicious. Now how do you make that even better?
Yeah. I can't with Thin Mints is when I really
gravitate.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to see what you.
I'm biting my tongue because I want to say which one it is. But I'm biting my tongue.
No, you don't want to give it away. You want
people to
you want people to come to your. I mean, that's awesome. So this is Dreamcatcher Podcast, and I always ask, what were your dreams when you were growing up? What did you want to be when you became an adult?
Farmer.
Did you really want to be a farmer?
I wanted to farm. I'm the oldest of 2 sons of the family, so Dad relied on my help on the farm because in the 80s. Kids helped their parents.
Right.
So that was always the blueprint. I got my undergraduate degree in agronomy, plant science, horticulture, and I just assumed I was going to join the family farm.
Sure. Okay.
It wasn't until graduation that the farm economy wasn't the strongest. There wasn't room for me to join the farm at that time with Dad.
Right.
And then I had to go to Plan B, whatever Plan B was.
Yeah.
That was staying in school, getting my degree in marketing and journalism, and then I found myself in California.
Life happens.
California was never a dream. Marketing and journalism was never a dream. The wine world was never a dream. It was just things I discovered along the way.
Yeah. And you never know where life's going to take you. That's for sure.
Life is what happens when we're busy making plans, right?
Amen. Yes. So are you a traditional farmer, raise corn and everything?
Basically, mostly traditional. So we have corn and soybeans as the family farm, but then I also raise pumpkins, especially pumpkins, gourds, melons.
That's why you had so many in fall. You had, because we were here during that season. You had a lot of pumpkins and everything in here. It was awesome.
We bring them into town, sell those in town, and then we also have a Christmas tree farm. So
was that one of your tree you had here that was gigantic?
Ours aren't that big yet.
Oh my gosh, that was huge.
We're raising fir trees, blue spruce trees and white eastern pines.
Nice.
So people have a choice of what kind of Christmas tree they want.
Wow. When you sleep.
Jen, when do I sleep?
Not much.
I was going to say you wouldn't have time. So, so would you ever I could see you doing like a TEDx talk on all this. See, I can tell you have the passion or something like that. Would you ever do something like that?
I don't even know what TEDx is.
Really? It's just like a 15-minute thing on what you're basically passionate about?
Huh.
Really? You got to check out TEDx talks.
I mean,
or TED Talks.
I've never heard of it.
Really? You would be a great person on a TED Talk.
People ask all the time, what shows are you watching right now? Or what
Yeah.
I haven't seen a current television show in I don't know how many years.
Well, I don't think you're missing too much.
I don't have enough time to sit
No.
down.
So you said you like to read. What are some of your favorite authors?
I don't have a specific author that I enjoy. I like certain types of pieces. I love reading about World War II.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it is about a battle or about a specific. Like I was reading a couple books about, unfortunately, the Holocaust.
Oh.
One of my favorites is called Lilac Girls, and it follows three women through World War II. One was a Polish citizen who found her way. She was thrown into a concentration camp. One was a German woman who was a doctor at that camp, and one was an American woman with French ties who was trying to get people out of Europe.
Okay.
And how their lives intertwined. And it was
wow.
The author named the book Lilac Girls, which I think is unfortunate because it sounds like this fluffy, happy, whatever.
Maybe a pride
And
butt. Yeah.
It is anything but fluffy and happy. It is absolutely, you can't put it down.
Really?
Learning about their lives
really
and learning about what they went through.
Can't imagine.
And I read a book before that called The Tattoo Artist of Auschwitz.
Okay.
And what people had to do in the camps to reconcile how to keep going and stay alive. And it was eye-opening.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine how eye-opening it would be. So,
and my next deep dive is then Oppenheimer stuff.
Really? Okay.
So
okay, maybe you have time to read a little bit in the winter
on airplanes.
No, that's true. Yeah, especially if you're flying over, you get quite a bit of time there when you're flying to Europe and stuff like that. So okay, what are the two continents you haven't been to? I think I probably know Antarctica. Probably is one of them.
Antarctica and Africa.
Africa. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm sure you thought about it. Where would be your first country in Africa?
Kenya.
Kenya, really?
Yep.
Okay. Why that country?
Giraffe Manor.
Giraffe Manor.
Yep. There's a place there where they rescue giraffes, and it's this place where it's basically a large hotel within the confines of the Giraffe Manor.
Wow.
And you're just immersed with the giraffes there. And then I want to go to South Africa to the wine region.
Yeah, that looks like a very neat place. Yep. So you got a date and time on that?
Not yet, actually. I think as Antarctica will come first.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you've been down to Australia and and New Zealand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep.
I imagine you liked down there?
So full disclosure, my husband is English Australian. So
okay.
Mother and father-in-law live in
Australia. Okay, gotcha.
As well as brother-in-law and family. And then sister-in-law and all the aunts and uncles and cousins live in England.
Okay.
So we travel a lot to see family.
Well, that's good.
New Zealand, I'd prefer to Australia, 100%.
And I've heard New Zealand is amazing. So
South Island is
really
phenomenal. And then Wellington, the capital, is a metropolitan city, but a teeny tiny metropolitan city.
Okay,
it's
I really like that really well. Yeah. So now there's a gal here, and you might know her, but I know she was going to go down there for a couple months. And it's like, well, if you're going to fly that long, I think I'd want to stay down there too.
Yeah.
So, but
New Zealand is phenomenal.
Yeah, I look forward to the day I'm there. So okay, somebody comes to your shop. So they've never been in here and they don't know anything about what you have here. How would you direct them? I mean, would you have can they have tastes of them?
Very good question.
Okay.
We do in-house cheese and charcuterie boards.
Okay.
So people can come in and grab a board. We procure the cheeses and the charcuteries each day. So if they came in yesterday, they'll get something different today.
Really? Okay.
And then we have a list of 6 whites and 6 reds that are opened by the glass. People can come in and they can grab a glass of wine and they can sip and shop, as we call it.
Awesome. That's definitely a win-win.
Or, if they want to buy any bottle in the shop, they can open it and they can sit upstairs and enjoy it with some friends or read a book or play some games.
That's a nice place up there.
But, if they want to come in and they have questions, then they can, any question, whatever they want to learn or whatever they're looking for, or if they tell me things that they've had in the past that they've enjoyed, I can help kind of steer them in the right direction.
So with your clientele, do you find them being they've enjoyed wine and cheese for a long time, or
Lots of newbies.
Really newbies?
Lots
Awesome.
and lots of newbies.
That's
Yeah.
great to hear too.
Yeah. But and we've opened this place up, and we really are something for every budget, because I think people, when they found out this was happening, they thought, oh, just another expensive shop. We have something for absolutely every budget.
You do. You really do.
We probably have 50% of our wines under $35, and that's not inexpensive, but we have quite a few wines under 20.
And that is, I mean, compared to what wine can be, that's really, really reasonable.
And they're small batch, hard to find. You won't find them in grocery stores. You won't find them in big liquor stores. Small batch wines from Europe or California or South America, where the winemakers simply don't make that much.
Okay,
And
they're
so
just doing
they're they're unique and they're interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that is so cool to hear that, especially, I mean, because I always think of this area not being progressive, but it's actually, Hastings is very progressive.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
And you actually are on a block that you are very progressive. I mean, I love this block that you're
Jerry,
on. So
we're just now getting another delivery. So
awesome. It looks really good. So, but yeah, have Back Alley, who Carrie's been on here, do you do anything with collaborations with her or the other people?
We did actually.
Okay.
During what was it? It was the tree lighting festival.
Oh,
here
did you?
in
Okay.
Hastings.
Okay.
Carrie Ann did a special grilled cheese sandwich, and she got the cheeses and the different products from over here, so she could call
Nice.
it the cheese and wine shop collaboration.
That's always good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how about going that way? Do you go, I mean, how about like Nicole at the bookstore?
I reached out to Nicole for an event that we did, and we did collaborate for a shop evening.
Okay.
Where I went around to a couple places on our block, and I said, did you want to do a special event?
Nice.
I'm gonna go. Hey, Jen, can you write Jerry a check for our wines? Thank you. And Jerry, I've got another order that, because we just went through a bunch of stuff. I need more Catherine. I'll put it into a message.
Sounds great.
Yes. Thanks.
So Catherine's a wine?
Catherine is the name of a Cabernet out of California.
Okay, interesting name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a dry wine?
A dry Cabernet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Jerry is actually a wine enthusiast, and he owns Chieftain Distribution in Scotts Bluff.
Nice.
And he brings in a lot of stuff from California, Oregon, Washington.
Ah,
So I lean into him about
perfect.
the Northwest wines, because I don't know a lot about Northwest wines.
I wouldn't either on that.
And one of the guys that works for Jerry was actually a college friend of mine. So
Okay.
full circle.
I love it. That is so good. So, so where would you like to see this like in 5 to 10 years? What you're doing here with the store here? Or I mean,
That's a really good question. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 to 10
well,
years.
and I hear you on that too.
Yeah.
So, would you? I mean, you said you didn't want to open another place because with the farming and stuff. But so, do you have any other businesses you would like to open sometime?
No. Right now, I'm perfectly content.
Content is good.
Yeah.
That is very good.
Yeah.
So, so what are some other? I mean, things that. I mean, do you have a lot of things coming up for 2025?
We always have different things coming through here in terms of events through Central Community College, different events that we are going to be holding ourselves. We'll have some more winemakers coming through here
Really?
about once a month or once every 6 weeks or so. I try and get somebody in here from Europe to talk about their wines. Next month, we have a specialist from South Africa coming in to talk about South African wines. And
That's
then,
amazing.
then during April and May, I'm gone because I'm planting corn and beans.
Oh yeah. You
And then
busy time.
For 8 or 9 weeks during harvest, I'm completely gone because I'm in the fields.
Yeah.
During the summertime, I'm able to balance farming
I can
and
see, yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's times of the year where I'm completely gone. Thank you, Jerry. Much appreciated. There's times where I'm completely gone out of here and I lean into my amazing staff.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah. Especially as busy as you are, you need to do that. So,
Yep.
so these people that you bring in, how do you contact them? How do you make the connection?
Those
person
are
for South
all,
Africa.
Yep, those are all done through my distributors. So
Really?
the distributors are
Okay.
the ones that go overseas to learn about the different small producers, to bring in the different wines, to bring in the different products, and then with their relationships, they bring in the winemakers to America.
Nice. I didn't know anything like that went on. So Oh my gosh.
Yep.
No.
It's very symbiotic because then the producers not only come to Nebraska, they'll go to 7, 8, 12, 15 different states and
Okay.
talk about what they do and
Okay.
talk about their wines in hopes of opening up new markets.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are they surprised when they come like to Hastings, Nebraska?
Most of them are, yeah.
What it's like,
Because
or
most of them have never heard of
Oh, I bet.
Hastings, Nebraska.
Yeah. It's like where?
Yeah. So
I know when I did this podcast, it's like Nebraska, isn't there a lot of cattle and corn there? It's like, well, there is that, but there's a lot more to Nebraska than that.
there is.
So, so is there anything else before we end the podcast that you would like to share with the audience?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I love everything cheese. I love everything wine. I love it. I
Okay.
love to eat.
Do you like to cook?
I love to cook.
Okay.
Yeah, I love to cook. In fact, Tuesdays are my day off, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Even though I was here for 6 hours.
I
yesterday.
bet.
But yesterday morning, I spent all morning cooking,
Really?
just preparing different meals that way I could have throughout the.
Oh, so
the
you've
week.
got it prepared already.
Yeah.
So,
Because I love to eat. Oh yeah, one
Me
thing I
too.
forgot. I also love Scotch,
oh, really?
and so we've got
Okay.
a wall in the back, and it's Scotch, it's Irish whiskey, it's Canadian whiskey, it's American bourbon, it's Japanese whiskey. So if people are also into Scotches or bourbons or whiskeys, we are
Awesome.
also a place to go that you can't find at the grocery stores.
That's awesome because my wife and I went to Virginia Beach a few years ago and went to the distillery had there, and I'd never done with the bourbon and the water droplet and all the other, which was amazing.
It
So,
is. Yeah.
you do something like that here then?
We're going to start doing Scotch tastings after our first year anniversary.
Okay.
The vault that I talked about in the back, we're going to fix that up and make it into a small tasting room where we can do
Nice.
high-end wine tastings and Scotch tastings.
So, do you have a favorite Scotch or?
Oban.
Oh, really? Okay.
I love Oban. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a small town in Scotland, and there's something about the blend. There's something about it's a nice balance of peatiness and smokiness and a little bit of
Yeah.
caramelization.
It is amazing, and I always thought they were all basically the same, and it's like I have found that not even close.
Not close. Yeah.
So, so do you ever do cigars? I mean, I know cigar bars.
No,
okay, I don't
no,
either yet.
No,
so.
I had a collapsed lung when I was
Oh, you better not then.
younger, and so that's never been something that appealed to me because of my
How did,
lungs.
that, how did that happen?
It was called a spontaneous pneumothorax.
Oh, wow.
And the top of the lung ripped open, and the air went in my chest cavity and squash.
I've never heard anything like that. So, did you know anything was wrong up to that point?
I couldn't breathe.
Well, yeah, that's a bad thing.
I was actually a freshman in college, and I was in Memorial Stadium watching a football game,
Wow.
and that's when it happened.
Of all places, too.
And I made my way down from the nosebleed section that we had seats.
Right.
I got into the parking lot just outside of Memorial Stadium, and I passed out.
Wow. Well, I mean, you had a lot of people there, and being in Lincoln, I mean, at least you had, I mean, I hope they got to you very quickly.
They were
But,
there quickly, yes.
oh, I mean, I imagine you were in the hospital for a while, too.
Just a couple days.
Just a couple days. Okay.
They put in the chest tube, and they were able to get the air out of the cavity, and it reinflated itself. And
No problem since then?
none since then. But
Oh, that's good.
I kind of watched those lungs.
I bet. I mean, that had to be a big surprise, I would think, too.
Unexpected.
Oh my gosh, you just never know. That's why
Yeah.
you got to live life, today for today, because today's all you got.
Yeah.
Got to go after those dreams. So, so no other business. You don't have time. So, what other things you like to do besides travel and your store?
Cook, eat.
Okay. So, what did you cook yesterday?
I made a pork loin roast,
Nice.
and I made some soup because I love soup.
Yeah.
I made a chicken soup that had squash and corn and carrots and celery and mushrooms,
Awesome.
and I threw basil in for fun. And,
Sure.
And just yeah.
No, I mean, that cooking's fun. I mean, you get kind of artistic, or if you want to, and if you don't, that's cool too. So,
So let me eat.
so do you? I mean, any other? I must like going to football games. So
We have season tickets, so we get to go to the. Well, I love the games. My husband not so much.
okay, well, it kind of works a lot of times that way.
I got him into volleyball, so at least we
Okay,
have that.
well, that's been good too.
Yeah,
So,
at least we have him that.
yeah. So where'd you meet your spouse?
In LA,
Okay.
he was visiting Los Angeles from Sydney, Australia,
Oh wow.
and came into my wine bar. And
Just
that's how
by
we
one of
met.
those chance meetings, then. Okay.
Yeah, very chance meeting.
Yeah, especially from Australia. Wow, it had to be a meeting there because I mean, it's the ability to meet him any other place else. I mean, the odds.
Yeah.
So, No. So what does he do? Does he help you here?
Nope. He is in the film industry.
Film industry.
Yep.
Okay. So you can make films and everything. What you do here?
He does big budget movies.
Oh wow! And he does that from Nebraska, or does he have to go back
He
to?
can live anywhere in the world.
That's
because
today's world. That's what's so
he
good about it.
goes to set location when they're filming.
Okay.
So
that's cool. How did he get into that?
He started working in film when he moved to California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have exciting lives. So does he always go with you whenever you travel, or is he able to?
I usually go to where he's at.
Oh, and that makes sense. I can see if he's on location.
Yeah.
You ever going to be in one of his films?
Oh, I keep trying, but who knows?
But you'd want to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
Absolutely.
That is so cool. Yeah, you guys have. I got to keep track of your lives. You need to do a podcast.
I don't have any time.
Yeah, that's true. You can just do it while you're doing it. I mean, you could do one on your phone. I'm doing that as I get nauseated from the moving around and everything. So, Michael, I'm going to end the podcast there, unless you have anything else you want to add. So, thank you for being my guest on the Dreamcatcher.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I look forward to being here many times.
Yes.
So, and thank you, and maybe a follow-up podcast. I do have to ask if you're going to have a celebration for your first year anniversary.
We will.
Okay.
We will.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm cooking some stuff up in my mind. I'm not sure what's going to shake out of it yet, but we definitely
You will
have a
some,
1 year.
Okay, something to keep track of then. So,
Yep.
Okay, sounds great. So, well, thank you again, and we will let you go and take care.
All right. Thank you.